I'm actually worried that the wind noise is going to be too much. It might just well be. So this is going to be the first video for a channel that I suspect will not become popular, will not become viral. And although it would be nice in times like this, with a global bug ruining the economy, to have a YouTube channel where you can simply vent and express your opinions and get paid for it. I mean, that's pretty awesome. I have never in my life applied for unemployment. There's been times where I was really struggling and I felt like I really should. I didn't have the confidence that I would be able to make the bills, but I didn't. I did, however, sign up for food stamps. This is like, this is Miami, by the way. I tried applying for food stamps years ago when I was in school. And just to give you an idea of what it's like living in Miami when it comes to the costs and expenses, I was in school and I had a scholarship, a grant, and even with all of that, I still took out student loans, which I regret doing because I'm damn near 30 grand in debt. And yeah, I was struggling, and I thought, you know what, I need to get food stamps. I'm just barely making enough to make it as it is, and I don't have enough for food. And I'm not exaggerating when I would tell you that I would have to try and ration my food. I was eating pasta and canned tuna for dinner every day, and those carton egg whites are pretty expensive, and eggs are pretty expensive. Well, they definitely are now. So for breakfast, I would use oatmeal, some sort of oatmeal smoothie. Point is, I just barely made enough money to eat. So I applied for food stamps, and it turns out that in Florida, there are 3 reasons why you would be rejected for food stamps. Technically 4, because even if you met all the requirements, they can still reject you because it is Florida. The first reason is if you've been convicted of a felony charge for drug trafficking. The second is if you've been convicted of the crime of abusing your food stamps. And I don't know, how do you prove that, and how does one commit the crime of abusing food stamps? I don't know. I guess they investigate and turns out you didn't really need it or something. I don't know. And the third one, which is the one that hit me, is, and apparently this is a crime in Florida, is if you're in school, if you're a full-time college student. So I guess their thinking is, oh, you want to eat? Well, then go work. You don't go to school. So trying to better your education and improve yourself is a punishment in the minds of the morons that are in charge of Florida. And they are definitely morons. I have the deepest loathing for, what's his name, Rick Scott. I had a career before this where if you work X number of years, you would get a retirement, you would get a pension. But in 2008, when we had the global economic or the financial crisis, the housing bubble, he decided, you know what? I know that you guys all did this job, this particular job, that you would be on this state retirement. But hey, I changed my mind. Now, instead of retiring at X number of years, you have to retire even more. You have to work even more years, which technically is a violation of a contract. It's an employment contract, and some unions try to fight it, but it didn't really go anywhere. Not to mention that in the recent stimulus package, he and 3 other Republican morons, and let me say this, I don't really know if I can define myself as a Democrat. I have some progressive views, but I also have some conservative views. I'm definitely not middle ground. My progressive views can be seen as radical or extreme, and so my conservative views may be seen as I don't really think they're radical. They're more moderate. But I dislike both sides. I find both sides to be repugnant in certain ways. And in this recent stimulus bill, Rick Scott decided to stand up both in the Senate and in a press briefing and literally complain that the Democrats added a provision to the bill whereby you would get an additional $600, I don't know if it's per week or per month, on top of your unemployment. Now the other Republicans, forget about them. Rick Scott's argument, which was just profoundly stupid, and coming from him, it's even worse, and I'll explain why later. But he basically argued that if nurses, for example, who are getting paid X dollars an hour, would benefit from this unemployment package, whereby they would get more money per hour being unemployed than they would if they were working. And he was basically saying that this would incentivize them to not work. Specifically, the nurses on the front line is what he was talking about. Think about that. Let that sink in. Let that sink in and come to the realization of just how stupid this ridiculous human being is. What a stupid man. These nurses are on the front line, risking their lives and the lives of their family if they have to go home to their family, if they don't take the proper precautions to quarantine themselves from their family, to help others. And this lady keeps looking back at me, starting to irritate me. Sorry. So he's basically insinuating that these nurses are going to take advantage of the unemployment. Now, here's several reasons why that comment is stupid. One, he specifically said that they're on the front line. Last I checked, when you're working and you're on the front line, that's technically the opposite of unemployment. Unless he's implying that they're going to quit their jobs so they can get on this unemployment benefit and earn more than they would if they were continued to be employed. But the unemployment provision was only for 4 weeks. This stimulus package they passed is a joke. It's not going to be enough to help most people. And this quarantine that we're under could last well into June. So what are they going to do? Quit their job and then what? Decide to go back to work when the unemployment dries up? It's stupid. It's insulting. He insults their integrity. He insults their intelligence. And he proves what a moron he is. Additionally, Florida, which is just a ridiculous state compared to so many other states in the union, Florida pays the lowest amount for unemployment and has the highest rejection rates. I completed my unemployment, let's see, almost a month ago, or I would say 3 weeks ago, and I've yet to hear anything. And I wouldn't be surprised if I hear nothing at all from them. It would not surprise me at all. The stimulus checks that they're supposed to have issued, I've yet to receive it, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if I don't receive it for a while, even though I meet all the qualifications and have direct deposit. So it's just absolutely asinine. And I'm not entirely sure what I would call my channel. I'm gonna vent about various things. So I don't know how entertaining some people will find it. I actually think I'll probably offend more people than I entertain. So be it. But if you want to follow along on this new journey I'm gonna create, where I'm going to try and improve my life through investing, my business, and just vent about societal issues that I know there are other YouTube channels that vent about it, but I just want to fill in a niche where I think no one else is doing right now. So I'll appreciate it if you like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.